resetting a little bit, saying, last year was a fluke.
They only won 6 games last year. They saw the Denver Broncos claim the #1 seed.
No one is really going to cover Isaiah Pacheco and 2025 Kareem Hunt.
Hello, welcome to Football X's and O's. We'll be talking about the new Chiefs defense for the 2026 season. I'm Ryan Studo. Alongside me is NFL expert David Scott. David, they are coming off a terrible season for their standards, 6-11, so they brought in new names for the 2026 season.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a bounce-back season for the Chiefs, and it's really going to start with how their defense performs with these new guys.
All right, let's talk about it. So they were very inconsistent on defense, and they let some guys go. Jalen Watson, McDuffie, and they bring in a bunch of guys in Mansoor Delane, #6 overall pick, and they have another first-round pick. They picked Peter Woods. So a lot of things that they've done in the offseason. So talk to me about the Chiefs additions for the 2026 season.
Yeah, well, you trade away Trent McDuffie, pick up another first-round pick in the process, go replace him with a very strong corner in the draft in Mansoor Delane, one of my favorite players in the class, maybe my favorite player in the class, and then you add in Peter Woods to get on that defensive line. So I think they are really trying to reshape this defense just to beef back up to their Super Bowl quality standards, and I think they're doing a good job in the process. They also signed Cater Kohu to join that cornerback group, so I think they're getting better, taking steps forward. I think there's still a bit to be yearned for out of this group, but at the same time, I think it's back to being a competitive standard. You still got all of your other weapons in George Karlaftis and Chris Jones and such, so I think this is just kind of them resetting a little bit, saying, last year was a fluke. Let's go back to our previous standards, and I think they're going to get back to that.
Yeah, they weren't even a bad defense. I just thought they were a little inconsistent. A lot of third downs they were giving up, so a lot of long drives, and then the offense wasn't helping either. They weren't having long drives, so they had to expect a lot of drives on that defense. So talk to me about the Chiefs and what they had to deal with last year and why they made those moves.
Yeah, well, last year, when you look at the Chiefs as a whole, in the end, you lose Patrick Mahomes. The team just is not performing to your standards, and I think with the defense, the offense being so bad, then the defense has to be on the field a lot more often. Defense gets tired, gives up those third downs, gives up those inconsistent big plays, and just everything needs to be overhauled a bit. And I think the Chiefs overhauled everything pretty much. They add in Kenneth Walker to help their offense, which in turn is going to help out the defense, because if the offense performs better, hopefully you're keeping the defense off the field. But then, I like the Peter Woods pick. I think that's going to be a good help for Chris Jones, and I think he's going to make an impact on his own. Mansoor Delane, you can't say enough good things about him. So if anything, I think the only weakness of this group now is going to be the cornerback position. Outside of Delane, I think it drops off quite a bit. But I think they're in a position now where all of those issues and inconsistencies from last year should go out the window.
I mean, they showed everyone what they're planning to do. I mean, the first 3-4 draft picks were on defense. And you look at the offense last year and you're like, why are they doing that? Like, we didn't see enough from the wide receiver group. Rashee Rice was inconsistent, not on the field. And obviously Xavier Worthy, we're expecting more out of him. So they really told the world, hey, we're confident they'll be fine on the offensive side of the ball. Travis Kelce, Mahomes should be healthy. The defense, we're saying goodbye to McDuffie, Watson, because they were going to be getting big contracts, and we're bringing in young talent in Mansoor Delane, and I think Mansoor Delane is the key part. I think if Mansoor Delane is going to be great, for his rookie season, I think that they're going to be, contending for a Super Bowl like they have been for the last decade.
Yeah, I think Delane very quickly is going to get into the top 15 corners in the league, and not just a top rookie corner, but just being a solid franchise cornerback. I think he has got all the talent to do so. He was so good at LSU. Such a sticky cornerback, really does not give up any separation, and I think he is going to fill McDuffie's space very well, and if not, outperform him.
All right, let's see what that defense can look like next season.
Okay, we've got an offense on the field here. Let's talk about how the Chiefs will line up on defense to combat opposing offenses. Now, the Chiefs, under Spagnuolo, run a 4-3 defense, a base 4-3 defense. What does that mean? 4 guys on the line, 3 linebackers on the field. Pretty simple. So we got our 4 guys, throw up 3 linebackers, 2 safeties, 2 corners. Now, obviously, this is the base 4-3. It changes based on what you're seeing on the offense. And so in this situation, you would probably drop a safety, go single high safety, and then one of your linebackers would cover the tight end in something like this. But Spagnuolo, he likes his 4-3 defense. He likes press man coverage, and he likes scheming up some nasty blitzes. And the 4-3 defense is what's going to let you do that. A 3-4 defense, you're a bit more versatile. You can show more zone looks. You can have a little more safe with your passing defense. 4-3 defense, you're really trying to get through those gaps, open up lanes, get your edges, your linebackers down towards the quarterback, towards the running back, and try and lean on the strength of your cornerbacks to hold down the wide receivers in man coverage. That's why Mansoor Delane is such a big signing, because when he's over here on the X receiver, he's got to stay stuck to that guy during the entirety of the route while Chris Jones, Peter Woods try and force open these lanes to get your linebackers through, to allow a George Karlaftis to get around the outside. So in this 4-3 defense, I think it makes sense why they had their priorities in a certain order in the draft, because it became pretty clear that the guys that they brought in fit the 4-3 defense that Spagnuolo plays very well. Your sticky cornerback, your disrupting defensive tackle. R. Mason Thomas, maybe he'll be a rotational guy at the edge, but they found the guys that are going to allow Spagnuolo to go back to pummeling blitzes down your throat and just trying to get the quarterback down. Don't allow any running lanes for the running back.
Yeah, and they disguise things so well pre-snap. I mean, opposing quarterbacks have no idea that a blitz is coming or that they're not going to blitz. So they make it look like it's going to be blitz and they don't blitz. Or they make it, they're going to blitz. So I just love the way Spagnuolo runs things, and they trust their coaching. I feel like that's one of the reasons why McDuffie got traded. They developed him. There's a reason why he got that big contract with the Rams. That's why he was worth a first-round pick. But they were like, you know what? Let's get Delane, who can be that sort of guy, number 6 overall pick, and he can be a McDuffie type. And you know what? We'll trust our coaching having that second quarterback. Obviously, like that, you mentioned it, the second quarterback is a little bit of a mystery, but I think we've had that discussion in the past when it comes to the Chiefs, that we don't know who's going to be that next guy in the quarterback room, and Spagnuolo seems to find a way all the time.
Yeah, I think, Delane is the kind of guy that you're going to throw out there on the other team's number 1 wide receiver and just forget about it. Let him do whatever. You don't have to worry about that. Don't have to double any sort of thing. Just let him go out there, do his work, and that helps you focus on what you're doing with your 4-3 defense. If I had to guess, I would say maybe Kader Kohu either becomes your slot corner or your number 2 corner. I would say probably a slot corner based on what he did with the Dolphins. But then we get to just go have fun with our 4-3 defense. Like maybe like you said, disguising. We're showing full-on blitz, but then we have good linebackers who can drop out and go into zone coverage or go help with Mansoor Delane, even though he doesn't need the help. Or we could just bring 8 guys in this situation. The Spagnuolo 4-3 gives you the opportunity to, one, allow your playmakers or your stars to showcase their own skill set, as Delane will, and at the same time, it allows players to work off of each other to create those big splash defensive plays.
Yeah, you still have Nick Bolton. He's still going to be amazing, and obviously Chris Jones and Karlaftis. I think Karlaftis is going to be that X factor. Delane can be that X factor, obviously, but Karlaftis, man, he had a good season, but I think he could be even better. We've only seen him contribute to Super Bowl wins. So, man, if they can see him produce to like the player that they know that he can do, I just think they only just gave him a big contract. And I feel like there were some plays where like the sacks weren't happening, with a bunch of guys, they were like a step behind, but all it takes this year, if they're not a step behind, they're getting those sacks and they're forcing turnovers. They didn't do that much of that last year. They can do it this year, I think.
Yeah, Delane is going to help keep the ball in the hands of the quarterback for longer, which is going to help Peter Woods and Chris Jones open up those lanes, which is going to let Karlaftis go through and such and such. It's a domino effect of when you get one good player in an important position, everything ticks down, makes things harder for the opposing quarterback, and allows you to get those turnovers, those sacks, those tackles for loss, whatever you need to do. And I think the Chiefs are now well equipped to turn those close plays into successful defensive wins.
Now let's talk about the team as a whole. Obviously, they only won 6 games last year. They saw the Denver Broncos claim the number 1 seed. Do you think the Chiefs can get the division title? I mean, it was awful last year, but can they rebound?
They'll definitely rebound. I mean, they're the Chiefs. They're going to rebound. I think their offense should be better now that we'll get Mahomes back and healthy. You still got Kelsey out there. Rashee Rice needs to be better. Same with Xavier Worthy. He's not been what we expected from him. But I think adding Kenneth Walker really brings a whole new dimension to that offense because Frankly, they have not had a good running game for
quite some time.
Forever.
Priest Holmes, probably.
Yeah,
this
so
is a while back.
It's been a while since they've had really good running games to complement Patrick Mahomes' passing ability. Now that you got a guy like Kenneth Walker, you can really have a two-factored offense now because you're not afraid to hand the ball off. You can give Kenneth Walker 15, 20 carries in a game, and he's going to be successful in doing that. Then you have to actually respect the running game, which is going to open up more passing opportunities for Holmes. He's going to had to work without anyone respecting the run game. No one is really going to cover Isaiah Pacheco and 2025 Kareem Hunt. It's just not happening. So with the addition of Kenneth Walker, I think that really opens up a lot of new dimensions to that offense. The defense is still going to be solid. Spagnuolo is one of the best defensive coordinators in the league. He's going to make sure that they're rock solid. So yeah, I think the Chiefs are back to contention. I think they will be fighting for, if not winning, the AFC West this year.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think they'll win the division. I think other teams, they improved a little bit, but not enough. I think the Chiefs have found a way to probably win the division next year. All right, let's wrap things up here. Football X's and O's. You can watch us every Monday. We also have other off-season content. Please like and subscribe. Let us know in the comments what do you think of the Chiefs. Can they win the division in 2026 and maybe more.